This video is brought to you by hoodbeast.com. Design your own custom hoodies. hoodbeast.com. We are beast.
Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Lee, and welcome to day 28 of the 2017-2018 NBA season. But let's just get into everything that went down yesterday. Lego. LeBron James can sign anywhere he wants this upcoming offseason, but I think he would sign with the Golden State Warriors before he joined the New York Knicks. LeBron don't like New York, and New York sure as heck don't like LeBron either. For the game yesterday, LeBron James and the rest of the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to board a subway to get the full New Yorker experience back to their hotel. And LeBron James decided to record their trip, and during his video he showed a clip of a random guy who he was sitting next to, and the guy wasn't having any of it.
Hey, Channing, what's up? What's up? What's squishy? What's squishy? I don't know this dude right here. He tripping. Hey, D-Wade. Hey, well, we on this train?
Man, we out here, dog.
Hey.
We out here.
Hey, we on this train. Yeah, we got more room now. Look.
Man told LeBron, "Can you not?" Got up and walked away. Afterwards, the guy James Michael Angelo took to his Facebook to tell his side of the story. So this morning, I was on the train, and out of nowhere, a crowd of enormous basketball players got onto the train and pretty much crushed me. The guy next to me kept nearly elbowing me in the face. I nicely asked him to watch my head. He wasn't very apologetic. Then he decided to put me in this movie, and I hadn't had my coffee yet. Thanks, LeBron James. The fact that he said the guy next to me, I don't care who you are, especially if you live within the United States, you know exactly who LeBron James is. I don't know how this guy was acting like he didn't know that was LeBron James. But as far as him being nearly elbowed in the face, I mean, you can take that for what it's worth. It's a his word versus LeBron's word situation, so that's kind of irrelevant. Anyways, though, that was just a sign of things to come for LeBron James. You guys remember a couple of days ago when LeBron said that Dennis Smith Jr. should have been a Knick, right? Some people thought that was throwing shade at the guy the Knicks drafted in Frank Ntilikina. That Frank had said himself that what LeBron said didn't make him feel like he has to go out and prove himself to LeBron James or anyone else.
I don't have to prove to them. I have to prove to myself. I have to prove to the team. You know, it's all about me and all about the team. I don't care about what people say.
Kristaps Porzingis said he wouldn't trade that Frank kid for any other player in the NBA.
No, why you made those comments. But all I can say is we love Frank. We're happy with him. He's doing a great job. He's playing great. And he's doing what he's supposed to. And I would not change Frank for anybody. Simple.
And then Enes Kanter said that LeBron pretty much disrespected him and the entire organization with his comments.
I don't care who. I just cannot let anyone disrespect my family like that, because when I play for an organization, I see my teammates and that organization like my family. And I don't care. It doesn't matter LeBron or whoever it is. I cannot just let them disrespect him like that. Because the coaches, the GMs, the president, and everything, this organization knows what they're doing. So that's why I was like kind of pissed at him when he said that, because, I mean, come on, man. That's a rookie. You cannot just say anything like that.
So that happened, but then during the Cleveland Cavaliers shoot-around, LeBron James kind of clarified his remarks on what he said about Dennis Smith Jr. and also let us know what he thinks about Enes Kanter as well.
I've been knowing the kid since he was 14 years old. So, you know, I know what he's capable of. And I wasn't throwing shade at Frank at all. For people that got their pants in bunches and things of that nature here in New York, I look for any controversy here. You know, I was basically stating what I saw in Dennis Smith and what I saw from him and him coming out and watching the draft, and, you know, thought that he would be a great fit here with Porzingis, you know, and that's not saying that Frank won't be a great fit. I haven't seen much of him. I knew about him from my best friend who I went to high school with, who actually played with him, you know, overseas the last couple of years. And for Enes Kanter, who always got something to say, he says, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Enes Kanter is just the type of guy that gets really emotional about his teammates. He's always been like this. You remember him sticking up for his teammates back when he was with OKC, right before he was traded to the Knicks, like literally right before he was traded to the Knicks. That's just who Kanter is. But that isn't even the end of this whole LeBron James New York fiasco. During the actual game itself, LeBron James catches a lob in the first quarter. Afterwards, he turns around and bumps into that Frank kid and then sort of just stands there. Ntilikina responds by shoving LeBron out of his way a couple of times. LeBron literally shrugs it off, and then Kanter comes in to defend his rookie. Says some things into the ear of LeBron. LeBron pushes him aside, refs get involved, technicals handed out, and here is what I got from that whole situation. I kind of feel like LeBron was testing Ntilikina, seeing how much pride he has, if he was going to back down or not, because some rookies, when LeBron bumps into them like that and then just sort of stands there, would for sure get intimidated. I mean, LeBron has been dominating the NBA since that Frank kid was like 3 or 4. He's been the guy that you grew up watching on TV, the modern day MJ. Some people say LeBron wanted to see if Ntilikina had the guts to stand up for himself, and he did. I got no problem with Ntilikina pushing back against LeBron and not just taking it. And I'm also not gonna bag on Enes Kanter for getting involved either. Like I said, that's just who he is. Teammates come to other teammates' defenses all the time, and that's all he was doing. And then I guess for LeBron, he was just tired of Kanter always running his mouth. There's just a whole lot of bad blood between LeBron James and the Knicks. And I know Joakim Noah was over there on the bench enjoying every minute of seeing his teammates go at LeBron like that, and I'm pretty sure that Frank kid and Kanter just became Noah's best friends. Probably took them out for ice cream and everything after the game. Speaking of the game itself though, the Knicks were in control for most of it. Had a 23-point lead at one point in time. However, if you were watching it, you could just feel it. Even with time ticking away in the fourth quarter and the Knicks still maintaining a pretty comfortable lead, you just knew that LeBron wasn't going to let the Cavs lose this game. And LeBron was huge down the stretch, hitting a couple of dagger triples, but no one was bigger than Kyle Korver. I don't know what he has against the Knicks, but the dude buried them in triples last night. Kyle Korver hit 5 threes in the fourth quarter alone, scoring 19 in the fourth as the Cavs came all the way back from 23 down to get the 104-101 win. Cleveland went off for 43 points in the final period alone. And maybe this was the game they needed to get going. We'll have to see. All that being said, hats off to Frank Ntilikina. Kid showed a lot of guts and even upped his intensity after his little scuffle with LeBron James. He had 6 steals on the night. Frank Ntilikina going off for 6 steals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's going to be a very, very special player in the NBA. But just because the game was over, it doesn't mean LeBron James was out of the clear just yet. As after the game, Enes Kanter fired all kinds of shots at LeBron James.
Of course it was tough. We were up by 20 something, I think. I think we just gave up 40 something points in the fourth quarter. But I think if you look at it, we fight really hard. We play with a lot of energy. But I'll tell you one thing, this team is really special. And you ain't coming to my house playing that water bottle flip game again. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are, king, what do you call yourself, king, queen, princess, whatever you are. You know what, we're gonna fight. And nobody out there gonna punk us. So we're just going out there, play our game, and I think we're just gonna get better and better every day. You can't just mess with the rookie like that. You know, if you're gonna mess with, go mess with the grown men. You know what I mean? But I always say, man, I'll die for my teammates. Whatever happened, you know, I always, you know, just got my teammates back because I see this team, this organization like my family. Whenever I play for a team, I see my teammates, this organization, this whole fans and crowd like my family. So nobody going out there gonna.
Dude called him a princess. Meanwhile, Ntilikina, on the other hand, I liked his response. The reporters asked him how he felt about his scuffle with LeBron James, and he said that he's just gonna have to start eating more.
When you push him, is there any part of you that suddenly looks up and says, he's got about 70 pounds on me?
You know, I'll make sure tomorrow I will eat more.
And then LeBron James responded to Enes Kanter, calling him a princess.
Kanter said, and I'm gonna quote it, you can call yourself king, queen, princess.
Yeah, I know, I heard that. That's corny. He can call, what does it say it again?
You can call yourself king, queen, princess, you're not gonna punk us.
Well, I'm the king, my wife is the queen, and my daughter is the princess, so we got all 3 covered.
What happened with you and Enes and Frank on that play there?
Nothing.
There are going to be a lot of different sides to this whole thing. Depending on whether or not you're a LeBron James fan or a Knicks fan, you're going to be on complete opposite sides of the spectrum. You're going to feel some type of way. Me personally though, I kind of like what Enes Kanter was doing. I'm not going to get upset with him because he was just sticking up for his teammate. The NBA needs more players like that. And then I also really like what Frank Ntilikina did by not backing down to LeBron James. That really showed that he's just not scared of anybody. This is just the type of stuff that adds that extra layer of excitement, gets people talking about the NBA, and I love it. Now we know that it's not Phoenix that Lonzo gets hot against, and it's just Eric Bledsoe, because Lonzo played. A little more on that later though, against these Suns again yesterday, and after going off for 29 points the first time he played them, he only scored 7 points on 3 of 10 shooting this time. And to make things more interesting, Lonzo Ball got benched in the fourth quarter. You heard that right, he didn't even get into the game in the fourth quarter during the Lakers' 100-93 win against the Phoenix Suns.
How do you feel about a game like this? Obviously you weren't on the court in the fourth quarter, but I know how much you like to win. How do you feel after a game like this one?
I mean, we got to win, so I got no complaints. Teammates got it done, in the fourth, and we're happy to at least get one on this road trip.
Luke Walton did the exact opposite of what LeVar Ball recommended. LeVar said the Lakers need to play Lonzo every minute of the fourth quarter in order to win more. Walton doesn't play ball in the fourth, and the Lakers win. But I did really like Lonzo's response. He wasn't tight about not getting into the game. He legit just wants to see his team win, which is good. Handle it like a pro. And Walton did the right thing by just riding the hot hand. Why would you take a group of guys out of the game that's playing really well? If Jordan Clarkson is out there playing like an all-star, hitting every shot he puts up, then leave him in the game. Clarkson had 25 points in only 26 minutes off the bench, while Devin Booker scored 36 for Phoenix. As for Lonzo's shooting troubles, Magic Johnson said that the Lakers won't try and change his shot just yet.
Let him play his game, let him shoot the way he's been shooting, and hopefully, they'll go in. And so we're not going to mess with it. We're going to let him shoot and play his game. And if after the season he's not shooting well, then we'll sit down with him and say, hey, let's maybe look at a different way, or let's try to improve the way you are shooting.
So, Lonzo, you got the rest of the season to get your shot to fall before it's gone. Third quarter, literally all I have to say. I have said it every single game for like the past 6 or 7 games. It was close until the third quarter. The Warriors didn't even have Steph Curry last night. However, they were still able to get the 110-100 win over the Orlando Magic because of the third quarter. Survive the third and give yourselves a chance to win the game. The Los Angeles Clippers had to start Wesley Johnson, Austin Rivers, and Sindarius Thornwell. They ain't about to beat nobody doing that, and they haven't been able to beat anybody doing that for a while. All of these injuries for LA are just too much for them to handle, and Joel Embiid, after having a bad game against the Warriors, looked more like himself last night as he had 32 points and a career high 16 rebounds. Robert Covington also doesn't get enough credit for what he does. Dude low-key has been like a glue guy for Philly. He had 31 last night, but he is just a really good low-key player. 17 points, 6 rebounds per game, shooting 50% from deep, and a good defender on top of that. Yeah, he has a lot of value. 109-105 was the final score, as Blake Griffin had 29 for the Clippers, who are 1-8 in their last 9 games. The Bucks are now 3-0 since they added Eric Bledsoe, and Bledsoe still hasn't even looked like Eric Bledsoe for them either. He's still adjusting, but he just gives them that little extra something that they were missing before they had him. The Bucks beat the Grizzlies last night 110-103 despite Tyreke Evans trying his best in the fourth quarter. Evans went off for 14 of his 27 points in the final period, but was countered by Giannis and his 27 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals on the night. Once Bledsoe gets comfortable and Parker comes back, that's when we'll see really how deadly this Bucks team actually is. After a couple of bad losses, the Wolves bounced back to beat the reeling Utah Jazz. Teague, Butler, and Towns were all huge for the Wolves last night, as they each scored at least 20 points, while Jimmy Butler was also doing most of the facilitating last night, as well as he had 10 assists. And the Wolves say they still need to continue to work on their defense. It's clear that Thibs and Butler are behind this defensive mindset that the Wolves are trying to acquire. Couldn't defend Donovan Mitchell last night though, as the rookie continues to get better every single game. He had 24 in the game, but 109-98 was the final score. Hey, a win is a win, right? Doesn't matter how you get it or by how much. All anyone is going to remember is that you won or you lost. And the Pelicans beat their brother and feathers last night, barely. 106-105. Rajon Rondo made his debut for New Orleans in this one, but only played 5 minutes. They were an alright 5 minutes, but it's just hard to tell how well it'll work out since it's such a small sample size. Scary moment in this one though is Anthony Davis nearly tripped on a mop under the basket. AD has had some injury problems to say the least, so seeing that had to stop the heart of a bunch of Pelicans fans for even a split second. He was just fine though. Kinda didn't have a very AD-like game with only 13 points, but Cousins and his 22 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists, Morris 24, and Darius Miller coming out of nowhere to score 21 off the bench made up for it. These are important games. The final spots out in the Western Conference come down to teams like this, and the race is always very close for those last spots. So having the tiebreakers over the other teams is going to be huge. So if you are a Portland Trailblazers fan, the win last night is a lot bigger than it seemed. Portland got the 99-82 win over the Nuggets behind McCollum and Nurkic, who also got the better of Jokic. Nurkic had 17 points, while Jokic only had 6 points and 7 rebounds. Not a very Jokic-like game. Lastly, the Washington Wizards did what they were supposed to do against the Sacramento Kings last night. Win 110-92 as John Wall finished with an extremely efficient 21 points on 8 of 9 shooting, including hitting all 4 of his triple tries to go along with 9 assists. That wraps up all the action from last night though. You guys can go vote for the player of the day by following the link down in the description box below. Just remember that only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, you guys selected Paul George and his 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists as your player of the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to let me know what you guys thought about all of this stuff down in the comment section below, as well as like the video and subscribe for more daily NBA news and highlights. But until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!